At three. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mindset Monday. If this is your first time coming to Mindset Monday, welcome. You get a rare chance to meet an eight-figure CEO, someone who's blessing a lot of people right now. And I don't get the privilege of doing the formal intro. We're going to let the famous guy do that. Everybody, please let Bruce Buffer welcome Mr. Chris Lavin. Bruce!
And now, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Presenting the master of the real estate deal and entrepreneur champion of the world, Chris, the negotiator Lavin.
Hey everybody, it's me, Chris Lavin. I want to talk about November 17th, 1987. Came home from work, walked into my home. It was eerily silent. My wife and my child, I couldn't find them. I eventually walked upstairs into my son's nursery and found him alone in his bassinet. And I walked over to that bassinet and picked him up, and he was cool to the touch. I picked him up and drove to the hospital, performing CPR the whole way. My son passed away that day. Seems like so long ago and yesterday all at the same time. Passed away as a direct result of my ex's drug use and drug addiction. And last night was a very difficult night. I dreamt nightmare all night long of that day and what happened and the events in and around that day. And I'm only sharing that with you so that I can share this. There's nothing special about me. I deal with life. I deal with life on life's terms. I've got no privileges. I didn't grow up privileged. I grew up terrible. But as a result of many blessings from God and the wonderful people that He's put in my life along the way, I'm here today. So I share that story to try to remove any excuses that you might have. You know, looking at us because we're further down the path and we're successful and we've got this business and we're doing all of these wonderful things. We're human beings. We have good days. We have bad days. We struggle with things in life. You know, maybe our kids aren't doing the right things. Maybe things aren't going exactly the way that we want them to go. But we rely on faith around here to get us through. And the reason I share that story is to let you understand that as painful as that story is to me, and as real as it is to me, especially today, it's still a blessing in my life. And I know that sounds absolutely insane, but that situation or circumstance that I lived through allows me to connect with people where other people cannot. People who are suffering pain or struggling with that kind of thing. And I want you to understand something. The path that we've walked has always been available to you. The straight path is always available to you. And I learned something over and over and over and over in both in faith, business, relationships, communication, um, especially in high stakes negotiations. There is always a straight path to the result you want. Always. But the straight path is never the most comfortable one, man. It's just not. In real estate, you know the straight path to more deals, right? It's more calls, more LOIs, more follow-up. But people avoid that path for some reason. And then wonder why the breakthrough feels so far away. Here's the part that people miss. And this is why I told you the story to begin with. Faith has a straight path too. If you want peace, pray. If you want freedom, forgive. You want clarity, surrender. It's simple, it's not easy, but the straight path is always available to you. When we raised $14 million in 14 days, it wasn't because we were lucky. It was because we took the straight path. We followed up, we talked to the people God already put in our circle, and those people came through for us. And you know, I always like to refer back to Proverbs, was it 3:6? In all your ways acknowledge him and he shall direct your paths. So your next breakthrough is much closer than what you might believe. Just ask yourself, am I taking the most direct path along the way? I want you to identify the path that you need to take to get to where you're going. I want you to take the experiences from your past, whatever they are, as horrific as they are, and use them as tools, as blessings, to allow you to be more effective in this world. That's what I choose to do with everything that's happened in my life. Everything from living behind a dumpster to the death of my oldest son to later on the death of 2 additional children and to a drunk driver. But because I believe absolutely that nothing, absolutely nothing happened to God's world by mistake, I believe that if we put one step in front of the other, no matter what, we'll get to the end. So I want you to identify the path that you've been avoiding. I don't have any judgment. I just want you to seek clarity. I don't want you to judge yourself. And I want you to take one step on that path today. Stop overthinking. Just focus on one step and move it forward. And if you're struggling with emotional pain, if you're struggling with things from the past, I found the best gift and the best way to deal with those things is to help out a fellow human being. Be compassionate, empathetic, and loving. If you manage to do all that, you'll find gratitude. And with gratitude, it will become a reduction in that pain and a usefulness that you never knew you had. This has worked for me for many years. Hopefully it offers you a little insight. Thank you all for listening.
Chris, thank you, man. Are you open to a couple of questions?
Absolutely.
Hey guys, this is your chance. You can slide in your question now. It comes anonymously, so I'll just read it out loud to Chris, no names. If you got a question that you want to ask Chris, go ahead, tuck at the chat now. We'll squeeze in a couple here. Chris, here's the first one. How do I keep a positive mindset when setbacks happen?
That's the easiest way that I've been able to accomplish that is to know that there's something I need to learn along the way to get to the final goal. And the other thing that I know for a fact is that a blessing with the wrong timing is a curse. Like if I'm not ready to have that, let's talk in real estate strictly, if I'm not ready to have that deal and work it and it comes too soon, then it'll be a curse because I'm not able to deal with it, and then it'll become a financial burden instead of the reward that it wants. So I focus on the fact that nothing, absolutely nothing, happens to God's world by mistake. And I should expand on that and say, nothing, absolutely nothing happens in God's time and be a mistake. So it's always in God's time. And when that happens, things just seem to work out for the better. And I just believe that at my core.
Chris, how do I determine the right destination?
So everything that I do, I say this over and over again, and I apologize if I said it 1,000 times and you've heard it 1,000 times from me. But the reality is prayer, right? Everything that I do, I start with prayer. And if God tells me to go, I go. Sometimes God is a joker though, man, and he won't give me an answer at all. And that always makes me wonder, am I doing the right thing? And then sometimes he just says no to me. So the answer to that question is prayer. God leads me always in the direction he wants me to go in.
Cool. You got a property question here coming in.
Sure.
This is if I have property in DeLand, Florida, is it okay to underwrite it even if it has bad reviews for its current management?
Absolutely. See, those are the properties that everybody's going to stay away from. Swapping out property managers is the easiest thing to do. It really is because that's the number one reason that operators fail is they don't know how to properly manage a property. Easy, super simple solution. Get rid of those people, bring in a proper property manager, and watch your property soar if you've got the right people. Yeah, absolutely. You can get over those bad reviews with 3 words: under new management.
All right, your next one. If we find that we're overwhelmed by all the learning involved, how do we go on?
Wow, that's funny because this is something that goes on in my life on a regular basis because I manage a lot of businesses and I've got a lot of information coming at me all the time, and I'm a husband and a grandfather, right? So I have to make time for all those things. What I do is this: before I go to bed at night, I make a list of 5 things that I need to accomplish in a day, and then 5 more that I would like to accomplish. And I am the first thing I do when I get up in the morning. This is real easy when it comes to learning and stuff. Is I time block. So let's say the first 2 hours of my morning, and it's early for me, right? Between 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning. Those first 2 hours are things that I need to do without distracted focus because most people aren't up that early in the morning or first thing in the morning. So if I focus on those things, get those taken care of, one thing is happening right then and there. I'm accomplishing things. And you'd be surprised how much that helps your mindset and keeps the overwhelm down. If I can enlist 5 too many, start with 3 or 2 and just get those accomplished first thing in the morning, right? And then set up your second time block, right? So you learn, you do the online courses and all that in the first part of the day where nobody else is up. And then the next part of the day from like the 9 o'clock time, I would then start making my phone calls and getting those things done first thing in the morning. Now I've got a list of things that I accomplished in the day. And so now instead of feeling overwhelmed, I feel accomplished. One thing that I'm encourage you to do, if you're the last one out of bed in the morning, make your bed. I know that sounds insane, but if you make your bed, you know that at the end of the day, you've at least accomplished one thing. So that's it. Time block, set a list of priorities the night before, get those accomplished, and you'll feel that you're accomplished and you're moving forward rather than overwhelmed from what's in front of you and hitting in the face.
Chris, you got one more that slid in. It's property question. And this person found an opportunity that has a large amount of single family homes. The owner's selling them as one block and he's purging everything up in Jacksonville, Florida. Is this something that they should pass on or pursue?
Um, it's tough, right? So the difference between single family homes and multifamily homes, some people would consider, a cluster of homes as a multifamily. I personally don't. And the reason that I don't is because when you're in a multifamily unit, each one of those apartments is like one or two floor plans. And so all of the appliances are going to be the same, all of the countertops are going to be the same, all the sinks are going to be the same. The total cost of ownership is much more manageable. Repairs are much more manageable because you got storage places and all of that right there at your asset. I might look at something like this, especially if they were duplexes or something, but it's a tough call. I would really have to evaluate that deal specifically in order to know whether I'm interested. The other thing too is usually multifamily homes are individually deeded, so you got to do multiple closings, even as part of the package. I don't know. Could be worthwhile if it's a heck of a deal, and especially if they're real close to each other. But it could be a nightmare too. It'd have to be something that I would be more comfortable evaluating on a deal by deal basis.
Chris, for non-accredited first-time investors, what's the best strategy for entry point? How many doors should they try to enter at?
Okay, so listen, let me make one thing clear. The non-accredited and all that stuff has nothing to do with the operator or the GP in the property. Accredited investors are only necessary when you bring them in as silent LP partners. With regards to going out and making a property happen, and it's my experience and my opinion that I need 100 units in a location to make it truly the best situation. I don't necessarily recommend that you start there, but what happens is you pay a little bit more in property management for the lower number of doors. So shoot for, 50 to 60. Florida is going to cost you a lot of money. I don't know if that person is the same person that's in Florida. Um, but we always shoot for 100 in a new city. That way we can get a decent property manager that's going to make a decent amount of money in that asset. But again, separate the accredited and non-accredited. That's for the people that you borrow or you're bringing money in as equity partners with. You can have $1 in the bank and still execute on these deals. It doesn't. If your net worth is $1, it doesn't matter whether you're accredited or not. If you're the owner operator.
Next one, who can work with me to get over 200 units done on a condo conversion?
Good luck with that. You got to find a great general contractor to do that. There's a lot of paperwork to done. If you're converting from condos to apartments, there's a lot of paperwork to be done. There's a lot of legalities. You got to find a good lawyer that's familiar with it. And here's one thing that, as you said, that I don't know the ins and outs of. So you need to ask yourself this or ask somebody in the know about this. In the state of Florida, if you're four floors or higher in your condo, there's all kinds of special rules that apply. And that might be why this is converting to apartments. There's all sorts of special rules that apply with regard to structural engineering and structural inspections. I don't know what happens if you convert those to an apartment complex, if those rules go away or any of that, but that's definitely something that you need to think about in Florida. I'm not an expert in this arena, but find an attorney that is, and they can help you with that. There's a lot of legalities involved in that situation.
Chris, what's a good amount of properties to own at one time, and when and where should you have a property manager in that?
I didn't hear the first part of the question. I'm sorry.
So the first part, I actually reversed it to try to make sense of it. They're asking about how many properties should someone own at one time, and how many properties should you put with a property manager?
Okay, so great question. Um, Back to my statement earlier, I like having 100 doors for every property manager because that seems to be like the magical number where they start making enough money to be interested. And I would, how many properties or how many doors you should have with a property manager, um, you really need to evaluate their abilities. We have a certain formula that we use that tells us how many people or how many employees they need to manage each location, and we implement that. If they have the employees and they have a great track record, I would give them as much as you can handle. One of our current property managers, I think, has 1,600 of our doors or 1,500 of our doors, and they're scattered geographically.
Next question, replays, and I'm going to answer this one because I know it. Replays are posted inside of a new platform we're migrating to. We'll make the announcement within probably 7 days.
So
So
basically, stand by. We will
yes,
be following up with you shortly.
I did see them in there. I saw the team had loaded
Yeah,
them in their
we're
platform.
building out a fantastic platform for you guys.
Next one, what city are you very interested in
What city am I very interested in?
for a real estate deal?
I'd have to say Florida, but here's the reality. I have an extra employee that I absolutely adore and love, who's an absolute asset to this company. And he is in Oklahoma City. So any Del City, Oklahoma City, I'm really interested in that market right now because there's a lot of good C assets in B neighborhoods, and I think it would grow. So I'm looking to grow our portfolio right now. It's my focus. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's definitely my focus because, like I said, we got a great employee there who's just been wonderful to our company. So Oklahoma City, Del City area, Oklahoma.
How how do you find the best investment funds? Do I invest with others? Do I find a small building? Do I do it on my own?
No, you click on the link that one of our guys is going to put in right now, and you talk to one of our advisors and get involved in one of our deals. And listen, if you're on YouTube, Facebook, just put the word link in the comments, and somebody from our company or our crew will reach out to you, either Mike or Doug or Sue. Somebody will reach out to you right away.
Okay. Next one, and I'll probably cut it off at this, Chris, to let you get going. What is the opportunity that Home Invest is offering for those that are serious, not curious?
We've got two of them right now. We've got one that is a high cash return, short cycle, and we've got another one that is just absolutely amazing too. Where it's a little bit longer deal cycle, where it's got some tax benefits and all of that. Again, put link in the comments, and one of our people will get a hold of you. The reason that I can't talk about them publicly is they require an NDA, or I'd be glad to share more information.
Beautiful. Chris, thank you for coming strong on a difficult day for yourself. This community, like I can speak for a lot of people here. Everyone loves you, Chris.
Thank you.
So thank you for standing strong even on a tough day for you.
Thank you. God bless you all, because if you didn't show up, I'd have nobody to share with these things share this knowledge that God has blessed me with. So you are very important to me, and I encourage you to keep showing up because it makes me feel great. It's got to be a little selfish. God bless y'all. Thank you.